I do want to say good afternoon and welcome to NOCTI's Spotlight Series webinar. My name's Randy and I am a project coordinator that's with NOCTI. I'll actually be facilitating the webinar today. Today we're going to be focusing on micro-credentials and digital badges with Education Associates. So joining me, we have from Education Associates, Shelly, the Executive Vice President, and Ben, the Research and Production Manager. So thank you both for taking the time today to present with me in this Spotlight Series. If you want to say hi, go ahead.
We'd like to. Hi, Randy.
Hi,
hello, everyone.
Hi. In addition, I do also want to say that I truly appreciate all of you joining us today. Myself, along with my co-presenters, are thrilled to be covering such an exciting topic. So I do appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us with this webinar. I know I've mentioned this quite a few times, but we do have a large number of participants this afternoon. So I will be muting everyone in order to reduce any kind of background noise we might get. I do, however, want to encourage you to type any questions that you may have into the chat feature throughout the entire presentation. During the, towards the end, during the question and answer period, we will answer as many of them as possible. If we don't get to all of the questions, though, we will send out a follow-up email with all of the information on the questions that we didn't have time to get to, or even some of them that we did as well. And then we'll also include a link to this webinar so you can refer back to it at any time. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this slide, but it does have some important information that our lawyers typically recommend that we do share. So I am going to pause for just a moment here. And moving on. For those of you that aren't familiar with NOCTI's history, our organization was founded in 1966 to provide assessments for individuals that were coming from industry into the role of a CTE teacher. States actually needed a way to validate the skills of individuals that were entering the classroom through a non-traditional pathway. So in the early 80s is actually when we introduced the student testing. That kind of came about once the teachers were in the classroom. They began to express the need for a tool to validate their students' knowledge and skills. And since then, student testing is actually NOCTI's largest product line. NOCTI is a nonprofit organization owned and operated by the 50 states and work with both student or teacher populations. In addition, NOCTI Business Solutions provides services to industry as well. NOCTI is well recognized within the education community, particularly within career and technical education, or CTE. We are ingrained in the CTE community through our collaborations with organizations such as the National Research Center for Career and Technical Education, the Association of Career and Technical Educators, and then we also have our numerous partnerships with industry associations such as the American Culinary Federation, the National Association of Home Builders, the Manufacturing Skills Standards Council, and of course Education Associates, to name just a few. We formed solid relationships with large school districts such as Philadelphia, Chicago, and New York City, and we also provide services to several state-level assessment programs as well. So that's quite a bit of information about NOCTI, but we do cover all of that area. So moving on to focusing on the digital badge aspects of it. For those of you that are new to badging, let's start with what is a digital badge. Capitalizing on technology, badges are a way to display and validate individual achievements, as well as verify competence through different projects, programs, courses, assessments, and other activities. They can promote a three-dimensional picture of an individual, allowing viewers to see beyond that report card or beyond traditional certificates they might receive. They have specific metadata that's actually tied to them, which is going to be the supporting evidence that provides details on any of the criteria required to actually obtain the digital badge. Now, talking about micro-credentials, let's think of like the automotive industry as an example. And if we focus on repairs or maintenance, a micro-credential could be awarded as a mini certification of sorts that rewards mastering a subtopic of the larger skill set needed by an automotive mechanic. So maybe the student mastered changing brakes. They could earn a micro-credential in the form of a digital badge indicating their expertise in brakes. So digital badges are actually tied to micro-credentials as well as credentials overall. They really do have the potential to positively impact learners, employers, and even the workforce by being used as a tool to impact retention and motivation. They also can recognize achievements outside of the classroom and allowing employers the ability to find candidates with specific skills. Digital badges have many benefits. As badges gain in popularity and usage, they're creating a common language between educators, employers, job seekers, and of course students as well. The education system is embracing badges as a way to enhance student learning through greater engagement. I personally find this interesting that NOCTI is hearing that badges can not only be used to recognize learning, but can also help increase student motivation and engagement. So making the connection between learning and badges is really kind of easy. As an example, CTE focuses on increasing student competence, and badges provide a way to transparently display student competence, making badges a clear choice for skill validation. There's also an efficiency benefit. So individuals have the ability to store, update, and share their skills in a cloud-based environment, essentially with 24/7 access. And the collaboration between NOCTI and Education Associates actually extends quite a ways. However, our most recent collaboration is the opportunity to award digital badges or micro-credentials to qualifying students using Education Associates learning kits. We've been working together over the past year on features in NOCTI's skill badge system to offer on-demand badging services. By utilizing the NOCTI digital badge system, Education Associates has the ability to issue badges on demand for a variety of initiatives and programs, providing their students the recognition for their individual achievements that they deserve. And with that being said, I would like to hand over the rest of the presentation to Education Associates so they can elaborate a little more on why they decided to start badging and what that looks like for their community. So please welcome Shelley with Education Associates.
Great, Randy. Thank you so much. We would also like to welcome everyone to our webinar today. As Randy mentioned, we do have a long history of partnering with the outstanding staff at NOCTI on several projects really over the past 13 years, including developing a joint curriculum and assessment program and in using their nationally validated business and industry standards as a foundation for some of our job skills titles. We're very excited to talk with you today about our newest collaborative efforts to help students of all ability levels to display their skills to the job world through a dynamic digital badge credential program. First, let me tell you just a little about what we offer to help provide context on the benefits of our new digital badge credentials. Then Ben will walk you through what the student will experience with the digital badge program and talk about some of the range of the great benefits. Education Associates offers schools, youth providers, and agencies the most comprehensive career exploration, job preparation, and life skills curriculum available. We provide comprehensive solutions for many areas, including special education transition, career and technical education, employability and independent living skills, autism and intellectual disabilities, and job training for youth and adult programs. All that we offer reflects an ongoing commitment to best practices and successful outcomes for every student. We help students discover their career passions and interests, make better informed career decisions, and gain entry-level job skills and key life skills. Our programs help all students, including those with special needs, to be job-ready and life-ready. Education Associates and its flagship program, Project Discovery, are nationally recognized. We're proud to have received accolades from these highly respected organizations. It has been validated and approved by the U.S. Department of Education and has been recognized as a model program by the National Dropout Prevention Network. Whether you're focused on test score improvement, skill acquisition, or a more successful post-secondary transition for students, our programs truly deliver. We receive data from districts across the country showing remarkable increases from pre-test to post-test scores, ranging anywhere from 40 to over 200%. Our data shows increased graduation rates, how we are positively impacting dropout rates, and our students are getting jobs. Our product line includes two major components. Our Project Discovery, which is our hands-on program for career exploration and job skills training. It helps all students become job ready. Our Achieve Life Skills are our resources to help students learn employability and life skills to foster independent living and to be life ready. Let me give you a quick overview. There are 4 series in Project Discovery. Our Career Awareness series has kits that are designed to provide elementary age students with an introduction to career pathways. Our Career Exploration series includes hands-on kits to help students discover and explore over 100 career choices. Students use real tools of the trade to perform real job tasks in such career areas as greenhouse work, carpentry, caregivers, small engine repair, retailing, and electricity. The next series is our adapted component, which is specifically designed for students with more significant challenges, including autism and other physical and intellectual challenges. We are one of, if not the only, hands-on career exploration curriculum for students with the most challenges. And our Job Skills Training series provide over 180 hours of in-depth hands-on instruction in career areas so that students exit the program with marketable skills. Our materials are great preparation for entry into CTE programs. Our Achieve Life Skills series provides instruction to help students become life ready through a series of 62 packages in 4 topic areas: job prep and employability, independent living, self-confidence and social skills, and health and nutrition. These instructional materials are provided in forms of digital files, with each title including 2 differentiated reading levels of materials. Let's talk about what is an EAI Digital Badge Credential. This is a digital badge earned through Education Associates. Each digital badge credential represents a hands-on kit or life skills title offered by Education Associates. The badge is a digital representation of the credentials earned. One of our main goals with our new digital badge credential program is to showcase to employers the skills that students have attained. It will provide recognition and acknowledgement that the user has completed specific Education Associates curriculum materials and attained either a passing score on knowledge-based post-tests or will have achieved a level of competent or highly proficient job-based skills as shown on work performance benchmarks. After receiving the necessary data from educators, we will verify that the student has achieved the necessary score to receive the badge credential. Then the badge will be issued to the student. Now, at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Ben, who's going to walk us through the process and show us the student experience.
Hey everyone, this is Ben, and I'm going to walk us through the student experience with Education Associates Digital Badge Credentials. These slides will describe what the student can expect after achieving either a passing score on knowledge-based post-tests or a level of competent or highly proficient on job-based skills as shown on the work performance benchmarks. Our student experience can be summed up in a 4-step process for each student. 1, the student receives a badge-specific congratulatory email informing them of the next steps for viewing and sharing the badge. 2, student accesses the badge locker containing 1 or more digital badges which represent specific digital badge credentials. 3, the student may review the details and the criteria relating to each digital badge credential. the student may share the digital badge representing the digital badge credential using several easily accessible methods. Now, for our example, we're going to walk through the student experience using the self-determination gold level digital badge credential. So first, after being awarded the badge, the student receives this congratulatory email. It's sent to the email address that the teacher provides to Education Associates. The email will specifically mention the digital badge in both the subject line and the body. And for this example, as I said, we're using the self-determination gold. Self-determination is one of our Achieve Life Skills titles, and the gold level simply refers to the reading level of the curriculum. The email also contains links to the NOCTI Skill Badge Locker, which we'll visit next, and our Quick Start Guide, which we're going to see at the end, and finally, a link to the Education Associates website. When the student clicks on NOCTI Skill Badge Locker, they are guided through an account setup process if this is their first badge, or a secure login process if it is not their first badge. And all of this is explained for them in the Quick Start Guide. So this is what it looks like after they've registered or just simply logged into the NOCTI Skill Badge Locker. The student can see all of the digital badges representing their digital badge credentials. Currently, Education Associates has 186 different digital badges representing our curriculum that are available for the students to earn. If they only have one badge, if it's their first badge, they'll just see one. In this case, you see quite a few. Each of the titles for the digital badge credential is below the icon for the badge. So to view the details, they click on the individual badge. This is what it looks like once they click inside the digital badge icon. We can walk through the elements here in the details. There's the name, which is the name of the badge. Issued to, which is the email address of the recipient, in this case the student. A description, which is a general description of the content area that we provide. The criteria summary is, again, a general description. It is what the student has accomplished to earn the badge. And then next to the word criteria, you'll see a link that just says the word view. And this links to a detailed description of what the student has achieved to earn the badge. We have the date issued and the expiration date, which for Education Associates digital badge credentials is never. These badges, once assigned to the recipient, never expire. And then the issuer details, which for all of our badges is the same. It's just a description of our company and some contact information at the bottom. Now, once the student clicks on the word view next to criteria, the criteria link takes the student to a curriculum-specific page on Education Associates' website. The page details the competencies or skills that were demonstrated to earn that specific digital badge credential. This will be a key component when the student shares the badge with others, including potential employers. At the bottom of the competencies, we again have the link to the Quick Start Guide that can assist the students if necessary. Back to our badge screen. If you'll remember, there were 4 icons under the 4 smaller icons under the large icon that represented the badge. These are pretty common icons, but I want to walk you through them really briefly. The first in the top left of the screen, circled in yellow, is the down arrow, which simply downloads the icon representing the digital badge onto a computer or device. The bottom left, the yellow circled printer, takes the student to a print screen to print the complete details of the badge. The share icon, which is the 3 connected dots, produces a drop-down menu, which is in the bottom right of our screen right now. This allows the student to digitally share the badge details in a variety of ways. The badge details can be shared by email or social media. The student can also use the Get Link option at the bottom to copy and paste the badge-specific link into an email or other electronic message. The recipient of the shared badge, this could be the teacher, a friend, an employer, can see the entirety of the badge details and can access the badge criteria and the Quick Start Guide. Of course, the trash can deletes the badge. The student can't retrieve it after they've deleted it, but a teacher may request education associates to reissue the badge, which of course we'd be happy to do. This is the Quick Start Guide. This is just the first page of a 7-page guide that we have for the students and teachers. That is accessible, as I mentioned, from the congratulatory email and also from each of the badge criteria pages. The information on the Quick Start Guide, I won't take you through it because it's basically the information that we're delivering to you in this webinar in a slightly different form. Now I'm going to touch briefly on the benefits to educators, to employers, and of course to the students themselves. So first, the benefits to our educators. They will benefit from having a unified, easy-to-implement system for recognizing and tracking students' mastery of specific sets of skills. The digital badge credentialing from Education Associates functions as a catalog for student performance and skill mastery on a variety of career and life readiness subjects. Teachers can easily keep up with the progress using classroom summary reporting from Education Associates. And digital badge credentials presents a uniform method for sharing student accomplishments with other educators, parents, and potential student employers. So next, we'll look at the benefits to those employers. Employers now will be able to have an in-depth look at a student's skill sets and abilities. They will be able to see the specific skills a student has gained and be able to do this in a cloud-based environment on their own time frame. So on the surface, the digital badge is going to present a snapshot of potential employees' applicable skills. But going a little bit deeper, the employee has access to the detailed qualifications and the badge criteria, and they have this access electronically and on their own time. Because the digital badge credentials represent curriculum from Education Associates, employers can also feel confident that the credentials represent nationally recognized instruction. And finally, most importantly, we have our impact for our students. This is significant, especially for our students with disabilities, because as we know, these students are significantly more likely to experience barriers to employment. So to be able to show employers that they've gained specific job-related skills will be a huge benefit to them. Students are going to enjoy all of their qualifications summarized in one location. Due to the employer benefits that we explained on the previous slide, students are going to experience the removal of these communication barriers to employment. And because Education Associates is behind the digital badge credentialing, students can depend on support from a nationally recognized provider of career exploration and life skills. All of this will give earning digital badge credentials from Education Associates will give these students a huge boost in their confidence. So that is going to wrap up the scripted portion of our webinar. Shelley and Randy and I really want to thank you all for your time helping us to explore this exciting new method of communicating the student achievements. We are going to be sending a detailed follow-up to all the registrants who are here on the call for us today. And then, of course, anyone else who reaches out to us, you can feel free to use the information on the screen. Emails are great. We also have our own individual emails down there at the bottom and the 800 number for each of the companies. and you can contact us at any time. Right now, I want to turn back over to Randy, and she's going to facilitate if there are any questions and answers questions that you all might want some answers to.
Thank you, Ben. So that was quite a bit of information that we just kind of zipped through there. I did notice there were only a couple slight little questions in the chat, one of which was referring to whether this PowerPoint is going to be recorded and available after the session, and that is correct. Shortly after the session, we'll work on getting it available through a link that we'll share with everybody. It'll also be on our website at NOCTI.org to view at any time as well. I didn't see any other questions come through on the content of the webinar at this time, so I wanted to just throw the question out there and ask if anybody did have any other questions or maybe wanted to see a slide a little bit longer so that we could discuss those for you. Okay, we actually just received a question, and it asks how we show the badge on a resume. So one option to do with that would be, so there's a couple different options. If it's going to be an online resume, the link feature is available. They could share that link, and it'll link them all the way back to the criteria so that they can express it that way. There is the option, like Ben had mentioned before as well, to download the icon to reference that in a paper resume. However, I would recommend still sharing the link with a potential employer you would be sharing that resume to, so that they could have access to all of that metadata that's associated to it, showing the criteria they met in order to earn that badge. That's a great question, though. We did receive another question. Is there an extra fee for the badge and micro-credential program? So that's a great question. I do want to come back and ask if this is for the ability to earn the Education Associates badge through their credential program, or in regards to the system, like NOCTI's online on-demand system. Okay, I'll let either Shelley or Ben, if you wanted to mention how their badge is associated with your program, as far as if there's a cost associated.
Right. Yes, and we certainly, as Randy said, we'll be sending additional information, including pricing, to all of the attendees after the webinar. So we will certainly be getting that out to people. I did see the question, Randy, and yes, there will be a fee, but we will get that information out as soon as possible after the webinar.
And that'll be, we can do that same thing as far as with NOCTI system as well. We can provide some more information on how to get those details too. It does look like we did receive another question here. Is it the teacher's responsibility to log in the completion of a unit when the student completes it? To log in the completion of a unit. Yes, we will need the teacher to provide us with the information once a student completes one of the programs. They will provide us the post-test scores or the information that we need to determine if the student has achieved the skills or has achieved the passing score to be awarded the credential. So yes, the teacher will be getting that information to us on forms that we will provide. Thank you, Shelley.
Sure.
Are there any other questions at this time? Has this been beta tested with users? Like, have students received badges already and been able to use it?
And Randy, let me jump in and join that with you, because your system is certainly, over the years, a tried and true system. The NOCTI Skills Badge Locker is certainly a tried and true system that has been used for several years. Our Education Associates materials, of course, are tried and true materials that have been used for many years. And this past year, we even together did collaborate on a beta test this past year just joining the two together on the system. But yes, it certainly has been tested.
Right. Yep. And the skill badge locker that we have available to students, that has actually been available for quite some time. As Shelley had mentioned, it's actually been up and running where students have been earning it and using the system with test-related badges for a while now. And then now they're able to receive even the on-demand along with test-related badges there. So it certainly has been utilized and tested thoroughly. We just received another question. When a student is applying for a job, how will they share this with a potential employer?
I can jump in and answer that if you'd like.
Sure.
So I think we touched on this a bit earlier, but it really depends on, I think, what the student is comfortable with and also what the employer is expecting. So that's why it's a versatile system. I think the online ways of sharing are probably best, and for each of those digital badges, when you click on the share icon and it pops down a whole drop-down list of share options, the email one is pretty simple. So they could click on email and then type in the employer's email, and it would send the badge details to that employer directly. It all just depends on what's more comfortable for them. I mean, you could, this is kind of old school, but you could print out the badge details. They print on a single sheet, and you could include that as an attachment to a resume that you hand in physically. You could even copy that information over off of the badge credentials into a document where you're accumulating that with some other information as well, and just use that as part of your resume.
Right. Absolutely. I think to just elaborate a little bit more, thank you, Ben. We have several different options available. So really, I think it's going to be a matter of preference also on the employer. So depending on how they're submitting their resume or anything along those lines would be a good indication of how they could submit it to them. We offer the ability for them to share via social media. So like, I know LinkedIn sometimes can be a way, kind of like an online resume for potential employers to seek out individuals that might meet their criteria. And so they might even be contacted by an employer based on that criteria being shared on, let's say, their LinkedIn account. And so that way they don't even necessarily have to send it directly to them. It's available right there on their website for them to view. Looks like we've gotten a couple more questions here. So who is this badge and credential targeting? Oh, sounds like they didn't quite have the audio set up there. Sorry about that. So there are several different opportunities for badges to help with, many different aspects. So badges can be useful to show that recognition for students towards completion of courses, assessments, programs, several different opportunities. I think Shelley can actually elaborate a little bit more on specifically with education associates, how they're utilizing their badge and kind of who it's targeting. But the badge itself has several different benefits for students, employers, teachers, many different people that are looking to show that recognition for a potential credential they've earned.
Right, right, and I might just add in on that, Randy. Of course, we are definitely seeing this as a fabulous, dynamic program for our students to be able to show the skills that they have attained in a wonderful digital badge format, so that employers, or whoever they, as Ben was saying, desire to share their information with, employers will be able to see the skills the students have attained, and they'll have this in a dynamic, locker platform a way that they can access this information, you know, 24/7, really. Anytime, you know, that they are available, the employers will be able to see this information for, you know, whoever the employers that the students have decided to share the information with. So it's a real showcase for students of their skills and abilities.
Thank you. It looks like we did get another question on pricing as well, so we certainly will make sure that we can address anything in regards to that. So I do appreciate you. It looks like it's a little bit of a different format, so we'll make sure that we do address that when we follow up towards the end, where we include all of the pricing as well. Are there any other questions? I know Ben had mentioned this earlier as well. Let me go back here to the last page where it has all of our contact information. If any questions do come up, anybody here at NOCTI, those at Education Associates are more than happy to address any questions that you may have as well. Like they've mentioned, we will follow up with a recorded version of this as well as answers to several of your questions. They were all excellent, so I do appreciate you asking them. At this time, I haven't received any additional questions, so I do want to thank everybody for joining us today on the webinar. And I really do appreciate the time that you took to join us and gather all of this information. I think, like I mentioned before, I think I can speak for all of us when I say that, you know, me and my co-presenters were very excited about this topic and really happy to hear that there's a lot of opportunities out there for everyone. So.
Right, Randy. Thank you so much for leading our webinar today. And as she said, we will get information out to all the attendees. And thank you so much for spending some time with us today to hear about this exciting program.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.